Thank you, Tom, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Johnson's Wax program. Tonight, we are delighted to bring you episodes from one of the most amusing books I think I've ever read, Our Hearts Were Young and Gay by Cornelia Otis Skinner and Emily Kimbrough. As I'm sure you remember, this particular chronicle concerns the misadventures of the two authors back in the 1920s when they undertook a trip to Europe. Portraying Miss Skinner tonight is Elizabeth Montgomery, who appeared with us last summer during our summer stock series and played on Broadway this season in the comedy Late Love. Miss Emily Kimbrough will be played by Sally Kemp. In just a moment, we'll begin tonight's comedy, which comes to you direct from Studio 8H in Radio City, New York. In the meantime, here's an interesting message about one of the many fine products of Johnson's Wax for home and industry.
Let's ask him.
Steward.
Yes, sir?
Smith and Barker, do you have our luggage?
What name's that?
Smith and Barker were on A deck, cabin 47A. We wanted to get our cameras.
Wilson, Brown, Morgan, Kimber, Skinner. What name did you say again?
Dr. Smith and Dr. Barker.
No doctors on my list, sir.
Well, let's try that one over there. Steward, do you have our luggage?
A little crowded in here.
I'm sorry.
In June of 1923, the Empress of France was considered by those in the know as far and away the smartest thing afloat. It was a happy omen then that it was on the Empress of France that Cornelia, daughter of the famous actor Otis Skinner, and her school friend Emily Kimbrough were able to book passage for their first trip abroad. Their first voyage as independent young ladies, free for the summer holidays anyway, from the confines of parental supervision. Soon they would be on their own, on just about the swankiest ship to sail the seven seas. For months now they had studied this little brochure full of the wonders and beauties of the SS Empress of France. But suppose we let the brochure speak for itself.
When you first step aboard the SS Empress of France and into the graceful main salon, you will be met by our corps of cheerful, courteous stewards whose every thought is for your comfort and tranquility. Proceeding aft, you will saunter down a corridor which has been scientifically designed and placed for your ease of transit.
This is the A deck.
Yes, sir, if you'll excuse me.
Well, if this is the A deck, then where is my cousin Martin's cabin?
The purser's office is on the right of the saloon. He'll give you the information.
Proceeding at your leisure down this broad and gracious corridor, the first entrance on your right will be the well-stocked library for your repose and comfort. The library, paneled in Honduras mahogany, is so restful and soothing you will find it difficult to tear yourself away. Difficult to tear yourself away. Well, once back in the corridor, you will want to lose no time in getting to your luxurious stateroom. You will want to lose no time in getting to your luxurious stateroom. And aboard the SS Empress of France, every stateroom is impressive for its simple elegance and its feeling of roominess and space.
86A.
My bottles!
Bottles?
My perfume, Mr. Skinner. He probably broke all of them.
Oh, I doubt it, Emily.
What's he waiting for?
You're supposed to tip him, Emily.
For breaking my bottles?
Oh, he's a nice man. He wouldn't do a thing like
A
that.
special service because you look like a special customer.
I'll take care of it.
No, I'll get it. Where's my purse?
There.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me.
Yes, Emily.
Can I help you? It's English money they gave us. There. Thank you, my man.
Blimey.
My goodness, did you see the look he gave me? Why, you'd almost think he was going to bite my head off. How much did you tip him, Emily?
$1. $1. Children, there's something you've got to learn about tipping. Giving too much is almost as bad as giving too little. Now, 10% of a bill in a restaurant is really enough. Mother, he didn't yell at Emily that way because she gave him too much. No?
$1? Well, it was the biggest coin I had.
Was it a sort of dark brown?
Yes, English
You
money.
gave him a penny.
Yes, 2 cents in American money.
Oh, my goodness. And now I'll probably have a grudge again. And if anything terrible happens, like a shipwreck or something, oh, I better wait. I didn't mean it.
I can see where Emily Kimbrough is going to liven up this voyage considerably.
There, Cornelia, the spot is out of your coat, dear. You know, I'm surprised that Emily's mother didn't come to see her off.
Well, you see, she couldn't at the last minute. Emily's little cousin came to visit, and she came down with something.
Emily's mother?
No, Emily's little cousin.
Came down with what?
Measles. You know the things that kids come down with.
As opposed to all us adults.
Now, Cornelia, dear, when the steward comes with the dining list, it's very important that you should tell him to put you down for the second sitting. Now, remember that, dear, second sitting. Don't let him persuade you to take the first sitting. It's completely unsatisfactory. Nobody sits at the first sitting.
Well, someone's got to sit, Maud. There'd be no point in having a first sitting.
But, Otis, dear love, there isn't any point in having it. Now, you remember that.
Oh, yes, Mother. Where are we going to put everything?
Well, there'll be a stewardess assigned to this cabin, and she'll show you where everything's supposed to go. She'll do your unpacking for you.
Unpacking? If you unpack one more thing, there won't be room enough left in here to scratch your backs. They put 2 berths in the captain's speaking tube and called it a stateroom.
But, Otis, dear love, you remember the first time.
Wrong cabin. So sorry. Madame. Monsieur? Mademoiselle.
Well.
For a minute, I thought they'd book 2 more people into this anchor locker. Say, Maud, don't you think...
Oh, no, I've done it. Never in all my life.
Oh,
Emily, what have you done this time? I found Horace. I could die. You found the steward, didn't you? I found him all right. He's just down the hall.
Passageway.
Down there. And you tipped him some more, didn't you? Oh, yes. He was charming about it. He said he knew how it was. I don't know exactly what it was he knew, but anyway, it was coming back.
My word, this girl attracts incident the way a blue suit does lint. What happened coming back?
I opened the wrong door. I thought it was this room, but it was the one next to it. And I just opened the door and said, well, I hope you feel better now.
And did whoever it was?
I don't know. It was an elderly gentleman, and he didn't have on any... Oh, dear, I don't know if I should have come on this.
Emily! You mean he didn't have
Cornelia!
Cornelia, Emily. You know, come to think of it, there are men in Europe.
And that's the only way they can keep the women from coming to America.
Oh, dear love, now this is a very serious subject. Now, you children are traveling alone. Young ladies traveling alone very often attract, well, of course, nice girls like you and Emily wouldn't care to. Well, I mean, it would never occur to you to. That makes sense, doesn't it? Now, the best and the safest thing for both of you is to try to meet some nice women. Some nice older women, and they'll show you around.
Back. 5 bells. Well, I know it's 5 bells, Marty. I'm not deaf. What does it mean?
Well, that's the way they tell time on a ship, Emily.
It's not 5 o'clock. It told me...
You'd better learn how to tell ship's time, young lady, because the officers aren't allowed to help the passengers out. That's part of the discipline of the British Merchant Marine.
It is?
And another thing, you'd better learn where your lifeboat station is and the proper way to put on your life belt. Any day, the captain may take it into his head to shout, "Kimbrough to the boats!" And you'll have to leap into a boat and row about for a while.
I will? Oh, Dad's just kidding you, Emily. Oh. Well, I think that's mean, especially when I'm not even sure if I trust folks.
You're absolutely right, Emily. Now, don't trust anybody. That attitude could only lead to happiness here. Now, the very best thing for both of you to do is to meet some nice older women.
That's the sailing whistle, and unless we're expected to chaperone the girls all the way across to Southampton, I think we'd better go, Maud.
It's time to go.
Oh, Mother.
Oh, now, Maud, don't start to weep. They're only going to Europe, not on the road.
Oh, but they're such babies, Otis, dear love. Both of them.
Mother, please.
Oh, come along, Maud. Have a good time, girls. And remember, Emily, Kimbrough to the boats. Be prepared.
I'll be ready, Mrs. Skinner.
Afternoon, Miss Hawkins, your stewardess.
Good afternoon.
Oh, I'm awfully glad to meet you. Now, I want you to take very good care of these 2 children. It's the first time they've ever been away from home alone.
Mother, really?
I'll look after them, Mum. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Children. Cornelia. Emily.
To cover any breakage or loss of life during the voyage.
We'll hope for the best, sir.
That'd be very wise. Goodbye, girls. Emily. For me. Try to cooperate with the captain. It makes everything easier.
We'll send you postcards, dozens of them. Every day.
Well, every other day ought to do the trick. Bon voyage!
Bon voyage!
Now, don't forget, children. Try to get close to some nice older women.
Maud, everyone will think you're giving instructions to a team of pickpockets. Bye, girls.
Goodbye.
Have a good
Goodbye.
time.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Sailings, they are so strenuous. Oh, it's such a relief when everybody's gone.
Shall I unpack your bags, Miss?
Oh, what's the matter? What's that?
Instructions for life belts, Miss.
We don't have any life belts.
Under the berth, Miss. Very easy to get that.
Emily.
You young ladies have never traveled by ship before.
Oh, I have many times.
Nellie Skinner, you've been to Europe exactly once.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that. The Skinners. Old whaling folk, you know. Cape Cod, Gloucester. A family tradition, the sea.
Well, that's nice, Miss. Shall I unpack for you now?
Oh, yes, I wish you would, Hawkins, and you'll find a package of cigarettes in that box. I'd like one right away, please.
Cigarettes, Miss?
Yes, Hawkins. There they are.
Thank you. I find a cigarette indispensable for quieting one's nerves, or when one's nerves aren't quiet. Don't you, Emily? Cornelia.
Cork tipped.
So I'll see, Miss.
Next, please.
As you said, Miss, cork tipped. You've lit the wrong end.
I know. I prefer it that way.
Oh, look, I found out all about them. They're traveling cabin class, the same as we are. They're on A deck, cabin 86A, I think.
You found out their stateroom number?
I looked on the passenger list. It's a public document. Their names are right on it, Miss Kimbrough and Miss Skinner. There are ways of going about doing this. I've heard of them. Well, we can get the captain to introduce us.
If we can get somebody to introduce us to the captain.
The captain is supposed to look out for the welfare of his passengers.
Only an emergency.
Well, this is an emergency. I want to meet that girl. Suppose we gave their cabin steward a big tip.
To do what? Smuggle us into their stateroom? That's a way to make a good impression.
Don't be cruel. Here they are now. Look, we got to think of something quick.
Covering a lot of ground, so to speak.
Oh, yes, rather. Yes, right on schedule. A trim little boat, you know. Knows her way about.
I guess she must. You're down here talking to us.
Yes. What's that you say?
I mean, I always thought the captain spent all of his time up on the bridge.
Captain? Oh, the captain!
I beg your pardon?
Oh, the young lady mistook me for the captain.
Aren't you?
No.
Sir, you're going to have to excuse her. You see, she's never been on a ship before, and she doesn't recognize the insignia. Emily, this is the first officer.
Oh, well.
First officer, I say.
Not the first officer?
No.
The second officer.
Try again.
Chief engineer.
The orchestra's ready to rehearse, Mr. McGregor.
Oh, thanks awfully.
Orchestra?
Yes, that's right. Well, Charles, it's been great music. Superstar.
Emily Kimbrough. I have never been so humiliated in my life. How you could have made such a stupid mistake. I told you that we were going to practice things like that. But I never want you to see anybody again, and I can say, well, I still don't think that you should have...
Oh, Paul, look. Isn't that a dolphin I see out there, Paul?
Yes, Ralph. I believe you're right. There is a dolphin out there, Ralph.
Yes, Paul, that certainly is a dolphin I see out there. All right, all right.
Yes, Ralph, you're absolutely correct. It certainly is. All right.
Paul, I do believe that is the finest dolphin I have ever seen.
Yes, Ralph. That certainly is a fine dolphin.
A lot of people never get a chance to see a dolphin.
Well, get on with our walk.
names are Paul and Ralph. Emily Kimbrough, what are you thinking? I was thinking that Muncie, Indiana's just full of nice old ladies. I can meet Ralph Subs anytime I want. But Muncie, Indiana's got nobody like them.
Mon ami, where were you? Scouting? We were to meet at 3. I've been sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting for you. Scouting? Beating the bushes. View halloo and all that. Oh, your English, even when you speak your own language, you're completely unintelligible. View halloo, beating the bushes, scouting, having a look-see, peeling the eye. And what have you discovered? Girls. Girls? Yeah, but of course, girls. The whole ship is filled with girls. 2 girls. 2? Very good number, 2. 2 of them, 2 of us. I see. Makes 4. Very convenient. 4. Convenient? Very. Bridge, shovelball, deck tennis. 4 always works out. Get your cap.
Hawkins. Good evening, Hawkins.
Evening,
I'm
Miss.
Bush.
Evening, Miss.
No time for a nap now, Emily.
Oh, put out your dinner dresses, Miss. I assume that's what this is.
Yes, that's mine.
Didn't I see a similar garment on Theda Barra in a recent film?
Well, that's where I got the idea for it.
I'll see, Miss. Young people are full of ideas these days. Leads to no end of trouble. Take Mr. Cochrane now.
Mr. Cochrane?
Mr. Alistair Cochrane, a second son to the Earl of Brougham. We've got him aboard this trip, on his way back to England again. As an eye for the girls, he has. Poor family, constantly shipping him out. Back he always comes. He'll be delighted when he sees that.
Well. Oh, unhook me, Hawkins. The Earl of Brougham.
The second son, Miss, doesn't come into a penny.
Well, tomorrow's another day.
Can't you think of anything besides walking around and around the deck? We've been at sea 24 hours already.
I thought that after a while they might notice us.
Well, the whole passenger list has noticed us. Everybody except them.
Supposing we're just to walk right up to them and say, is this chair taken?
Well, suppose they said yes, it is.
Well, then we could introduce ourselves and say, nice voyage, isn't it?
Suppose they thought it wasn't.
Oh, we've got to think of something.
Try the dolphin again.
Yeah, might as well. Maybe this time we'll really see one.
Here they come again. See any dolphins on the horizon?
Is that a dolphin on the horizon there?
Oh, hello there. Is this chair taken?
I know, I don't think so.
Alistair Cochrane.
The Earl.
Nice voyage, isn't it?
Lovely. Oh, I'm Cornelia Otis Skinner, and this is my friend Emily Kimbrough.
How do you do?
Sure.
Jolly. What?
Oh, steady.
Good ship.
Topo.
Ocean.
Tremendous.
Miss Skinner. Saw you at dinner last night. Couldn't take my eyes off you. Smashing dress.
Rather.
Steady, Doctor.
We won't be doctors for another 3 years.
Yeah, well, it's never too early to start practicing the bedside manner. Always be calm,
sure of yourself, and above all, never yawn in a patient's face when she is describing her symptoms to you.
That's very funny.
Well, I know a way that you can meet Miss Kimbrough.
How?
Well, I figure if you walk up to her and you say, "Pardon me, miss, I'm a medical student, and to my practice eye you appear to be quite ill," then you quickly take her pulse. You see, in this way, you not only get to meet her, you get to hold her hand.
Very funny.
As you've seen many times, many things happened on the good ship Empress of France during the first 24 hours of the memorable voyage she carried Cornelia Otis Skinner and her friend Emily Kimbrough to Europe for their summer vacation. However, the incidents unveiled thus far tend to fade away when compared to later developments. It is now early evening on the second day out.
Excuse me, ready so soon? Mm-hmm. You were an awful pill this afternoon on our double date with Alistair and Ulrich. What got into you? I had such a wonderful time. We went to the bow of the boat, and your English friend said, bow. Then we went to the stern, and he said, stern. Then we went to the boat deck, and what did Alistair say? Boat deck? But he... No, let's be fair to him. He said boat deck, but then he pointed to them and said, lifeboats. Well, you could have talked to Ori. Ori was so fascinated by Alistair's ready flow of wit, he didn't say anything at all. Well, what do you want? I don't mind the boy not talking. But I want him not to talk because I look so lovely in my new dress that he's awed. That's the one. Yes, it is. I want him not to talk because he's thinking about me and how delicate and fragile I am. Delicate, really, darling. We played hockey together. You weigh 114, and you are as strong as a little ox. I know. Isn't it fun when they bump into you and get all flustered for fear they bruise? Or take your hand to help you over a 6-inch curve. Or do that heavy work of pulling out a chair. Oh, it's absolute heaven. But Emily, we have got to have a successful trip. What does a successful trip mean? Oh, you know, dates for the captain's dinner and dance. Most important night, the last night out. All right. When we get back to school, what should you rather tell the girls? That she went to the dance with a dashing Frenchman and the second son of an earl? Or a couple of boys from the University of Pennsylvania? Ooh, Frenchman, son of the earl, I guess. Well, there you are. But gee, it seems an awful long time to wait to enjoy our vacation. Going up on deck? Yes. Any particular place? Oh, I just thought I might run into some nice old ladies. In the vicinity of the bow, perhaps. The bow of what? No reason, except that just about this time last night, I noticed that a certain young man happened to be standing there. Meet you in the lounge. Emily, you know it's called a saloon. Well, you certainly don't expect me to say meet you in the saloon. How does that sound? Run along, Emily. Last night out is an awfully long time to wait.
Hello.
Hello.
Gosh. It was as simple as that.
What was?
Meeting you.
You haven't yet.
Oh, no. I'm Paul Smith.
I'm Emily Kimbrough.
Yes, I know. I heard your friend say so. Well, it was lucky us meeting up here like this, wasn't it? Just a pure accident.
Yes, it was fortunate.
Yeah, well, that's the way things go. You just never know your luck.
Yes.
I hope you won't think I'm fresh if I say that in that dress you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I don't think you're fresh, Paul. You just sounded sincere.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, good Lord, I'm a clumsy. Did I hurt you?
No.
Oh, I'm bruising your arm. Is there a mark?
No. You have a very strong grip.
Tennis. Racket grip.
I think a man should have a strong grip. It's an indication of a strong character.
Well, I always believe in keeping fit.
Oh, dear. How How many is that? I never can keep counting. If I do, I don't remember what they mean.
Oh, well, that's 8 bells. That's 6 o'clock. It's kind of technical.
It's getting foggy.
Oh. Oh, well, it's nothing to worry about. We'll be out of it by tomorrow morning.
But don't most of the sinkings take place in fog?
Oh, no. Well, forget that.
I feel safer in the cabin.
Oh, that's silly.
Besides, Cornelia might be waiting, or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I kept you out too long?
It's been the nicest time I've had on this ship.
Wow!
Emily? 2, 3, 4. 2,
Emily.
4, 2, 3, 4. Emily? 2. What in heaven's name are you doing? Practicing? Outside. For a fog. 2, 3, 4. Got to be ready. 2, 3.
Good night, Emily.
2, 3, 4. Oh, we're aboard.
Emily!
I knew it would happen.
Emily, you
Skinner warned me.
Emily? Emily!
Entrez. Ah, mon ami. In a moment.
Fog moving in.
Ah,
In for a blow.
charmant.
Won't be. Captain's in a blue funk. Worried.
Oh, I have infinite confidence in the command of this vessel.
That's overconfidence. Oh, trouble with you people. What's that? Do they do?
Exactement.
Perfumed. Cat.
My dear sir,
Poor girl, sorry for her.
it's nothing like that. I assure you, Alistair, a sample invitation to tea.
Tea? Cad.
What's the matter? I'm having tea with Ori this afternoon.
Is that all?
Is that all? He invited me to tea and I accepted.
Well, have tea with him.
For Cornelia, I said yes before I realized he meant to have tea in his stateroom.
In his stateroom?
Yes, and I didn't know how to get out of it.
Well, maybe it isn't what you think.
He's Alistair's friend, isn't he? And our stewardess said Alistair was wild, didn't she?
You can send word you have a headache.
But I've got a date with Paul tonight, and everybody will see us.
Let them see you.
Well, then, Omi will come up to us to find out how I am, and the whole thing will come out, and the explanations will be worse than going through with it.
Emily!
No. Well, of course, I don't mean going through with it. I mean, oh, I don't know what I mean.
Emily, dear Emily, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will break my date with Alistair and come with you.
It looks silly. Besides, he hasn't asked you.
That's true. But I think Henri will be a gentleman.
I hope so. But Cornelia. Well, what'll I do if he does make advances?
Scream.
Then everybody will know. Reason with him. Suppose he won't listen.
Emily! Emily, I've got just the thing. Mother insisted that I bring this with me. Womanhood's preserver since the Middle Ages. Here.
Cornelia, just the thing. Monsieur Pollard, en garde.
Now, look. You see, it's a trick umbrella, too. If things get really bad, you just push this little button and it opens by itself. See? Oh, here, now take it. I've got another idea. Now, just to be doubly sure, I'll disguise myself in, let's see, yes, in this. And, well, and I'll wait outside on these cabins for the first sign of trouble.
Oh, goody, isn't it exciting? Or is it?
Mon ami. Come in, mon vieux.
Hello. Tea things. The battle is about to be joined, eh?
Mary, as I told you earlier, I am expecting a visitor for tea.
Rotter.
Oh, Alistair, you misjudge me. You misjudge me with a most unfair severeness.
Oh?
My guest, Mademoiselle Amélie Kimbrough, is the daughter of Monsieur Charles Kimbrough of Muncie, Indiana. And Monsieur Charles Kimbrough of Muncie, Indiana is a very good customer of my father's firm, Follard des Fils, Paris, Montreal, and San Francisco.
No. Business. Good show.
Oh, business is a very good show. I will give Miss Kimbrough a most sumptuous and respectful tea, so that next year the firm of Follard des Fils will receive a much larger order from the firm of Monsieur Charles Kimbrough of Muncie, Indiana.
Bullock.
Please, mon ami. Business is business, n'est-ce pas?
Stuffy in here.
Oh, you English. A wet, damp, horrible fog out there, and you open the window.
Porthole.
Well, whatever they are, it's freezing in here. Ah, no wonder. The heat ventilator. Oh, it's closed. My steward, he is an Englishman, too.
English boat. Well, I'm off.
We meet at dinner.
Righto.
Again.
Oh, Henri.
Oui, mon ami.
Good for the complexion.
What?
Fog.
Emily, don't forget. I'll be right outside that porthole. One peep and I'll come in.
I certainly hope this doesn't turn out to be another international incident beginning to have all the earmarks.
Ah, voilà, we are here. Entrez.
Bonjour.
Ah, bonjour, bonjour.
Tea. How wonderful. I'm famished.
Oh, ma pauvre. May I take your umbrella?
No. The fog.
Oh, oui, the fog. Maybe.
Shall I pour?
Oh, if you will, please. Ah, well, this is very pleasant, is it not?
Yes. Very pleasant. I hope it keeps up that way.
Well, why should it not?
Sometimes things don't.
My tea?
Oh, yes.
Merci. Ah, this is very pleasant. Here we are, the two of us, alone. Please, mademoiselle, you know, maybe stay there. As I was saying, here we are, the two of us, alone. Who is there here to make things unpleasant?
Oh, well, that's what you meant.
Mary, what else?
I don't know. Excuse me, you see, my French isn't very good.
But I was speaking English.
You were, weren't you?
Mary.
My, how could I make such a silly mistake?
Oh,
Oh, it's awfully warm in here.
What? Warm? Oh, warm. Oh, but in that dress you must be half freezing.
It's thin dress.
Oui.
Yes, well, it's just that I think it's a shame to take an ocean trip and not get all the bracing sea air that you can.
Oh, Mary, I will turn off the heat for you.
Things aren't going too well. What's the matter?
Bro, there is a wet, horrible fog out there.
Yes, that's what I mean. That bracing fog air. I won't. And now listen.
Wilkerson. Please. Now, we will have our tea, n'est-ce pas?
Anything you say. I didn't mean that.
Pardon, mademoiselle, but are you nervous about anything?
Me? Nervous?
Yes.
Whatever gave you that idea?
I don't know. You seem to me just to be a little nervous. Now, please.
I wonder if I could have a glass of ice water.
Ice water?
Yes, please.
Ice water? Oh, mais oui. Ice water. My steward, he usually leaves some by my bed. Ice water, mais oui. Ice water?
started talking about my thin dress.
That's the first step.
And then he asked me if I was nervous.
That's the second step.
What am I going to do?
You leave everything to me. You go back in there and hang on to this umbrella and stall him off. I'll take care of this.
What are you going to do?
Emily, I said I'd handle it.
Oh!
When was it?
I call the stewardess.
Oh, I thought I heard something.
Your ice water.
Thank you.
N'importe de quoi. Oh, aren't you terribly uncomfortable if you would put down your umbrella?
No, I'd be lost without it. My dear umbrella, I take it everywhere with me.
Umbrella?
Yes.
Oh, maintenant, mais oui. Please to sit down now. We will have our tea. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, mon Dieu. The tea is cold.
Oh, what a shame. Well, perhaps we could get the steward to heat it up for us.
Perhaps. I will ring for him. Merci. Mademoiselle. Passing ship, perhaps?
Yes.
Ah, c'est dommage, huh? And one was hoping so for a quiet crossing, huh? Now, please to sit down again.
Oh, yes. Well, let's have our tea now.
But the tea is cold. I just rang for...
That's exactly the way I like it.
The way you like the tea? Oh,
That must be our stewardess.
Well, why must it?
I don't know, I just sort of thought it might be.
Oh, yeah, I will ring. Answer. Pardonnez-moi. Oui. Oui?
The captain's compliments, sir, and he'd like to see Miss Kimbra on the bridge at once, sir.
Oh, oui, the bridge. Certainement. Pardonnez-moi. No, the captain wishes to see you on the bridge.
Oh, what a shame.
Oh, c'est dommage.
Just when we were going to have our tea.
Oui.
Well, I certainly can't keep the captain waiting, can I? We might get angry and steer the ship off its course or something.
Bonjour. Oh, the English. The Americans. Why did they ever separate? What? Mademoiselle Cambro! Mademoiselle Cambro! Your umbrella! Mademoiselle Cambro!
There were a lot of problems, big problems, to be dealt with on the transatlantic crossing of an ocean-going giant like the Empress of France. Navigation problems, engine room problems, communication problems. But all these paled into insignificance, at least in the minds of Cornelia and Emily, whenever they faced the really big problem. With whom should they attend the captain's dance? It is now the next to the last day out, and Paul is trying to help Emily make up her mind.
You wouldn't be so unreasonable.
You're the one who's being
How
unreasonable.
am I being unreasonable? When a fellow meets a girl, and if without things being said, they sort of like each other, and then without things being said, they sort of... And then after all that, she goes to the most important dance with another fella.
But I told you I'd dance every dance I could with you.
Well, it wouldn't be the same thing. You'd still be there with him.
I can't help it. I agreed to before we met.
People have broken dates before.
But I can't break my date with Ori. Not after Monday.
What happened Monday?
Oh, nothing. Anyway, I can't break the date, and you're being very unfair.
Emily, there comes a time in the life of every man when he must put his foot down. Either you go to that dance with me, or it's the end.
Fine. It's the end.
Do you mean that?
You're the one who's forcing it.
Ah. Well, we, dock at Southampton tomorrow.
I'm through with women.
No. Really? No. Really? No. Oh, fine. I thought you'd never finished dinner. I'm all ready. Test me. Test you? Yes, I want to be devastating at the ball with Alistair tonight. Just come on, test me. Oh.
You mean review the lessons Jonesy gave us back home and how to talk while dancing with a man.
Well, naturally, and you took as many as I did, so come on, test me.
What a line Jonesy has with boys.
She certainly does. And I want to put Jonesy's line to use tonight. It's practically the first time I've had a chance.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay.
All right, music starts.
Eyes down. No. Eyes up. Really? Down. No. Up. Really? Down. No. Up. Really? Oh, Woody, you're wonderful.
Alex, you'll simply swoon.
Well, you better hurry up or you'll be late.
Oh, I don't care if I am.
Well, that's a fine way to talk.
I want to go to the dance with Paul.
Now, darling, you know you can't do that.
I know. Pink pomade. Well, the fun's gone somehow.
Is Paul sulking?
Worse than that.
And you hear the excitement of the music, you'll forget all about him.
Isn't it awfully hot in here?
Don't be silly.
It is warm.
It's just because you're excited.
Maybe. Oh, crazy.
Huh?
I'm dizzy.
You always were, my love.
No, I mean really dizzy. It is hot, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, I better call the ship's doctor. Emily! Emily, suppose they stop you from landing.
Do you think they would?
Well, they might.
But they can't do that. We've waited all year for this trip.
Well, if it is anything serious, the doctor will have to report it as quarantine.
Oh, dear. Then maybe they won't let me back in America. And I'll become another Flying Dutchman, except I'm not Dutch and I can't fly.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Isn't Paul a medical student?
Yes, but he...
Ah, you lie down.
He said he was through with me. He said it was the end.
How many times?
2.
That doesn't count, then. I'll be right back.
All my money to my sister's children. I'll die a bachelor. Sister doesn't have any children. In fact, I haven't even got a sister. Leave all my money to charity if I make any.
Paul! Paul! I've been looking all over the ship.
Emily sent you to apologize. It's much too late.
Emily's very sick.
Emily? Sick? Come on. Oh, Emily, honey. Uh-oh.
Is it anything serious?
Probably not. Measles. Thermometer.
Oh, very good. Well, she couldn't have gotten them from me. I've had them.
That's good, so have I. You just lie still.
If it is measles, will the officials stop us from landing?
Either that or keep her in quarantine.
Oh, what are we going to do?
Very kind of you to come here.
You just talk as little as possible.
I'll probably lose my license before I get it if this comes out, but I think I can talk the ship's nurse into giving me something to keep the fever down without them knowing who it's for.
Well, then what do we do?
Well, I'll watch her tonight. Then tomorrow morning we'll take her ashore and put her into a private hospital, and she should only be there a few days.
Paul, you're wonderful.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell her. Well,
yeah, one kind of measles is dangerous, but I'm sure this isn't that.
yeah, the rash is coming out fine. It's red, not purple.
Oh, I must look a fright.
Oh, you look wonderful. You always do. Now, Emily, this is entirely up to you. I'm willing to take a chance, but if my diagnosis is wrong, there could be serious complications.
I have complete confidence in you, Paul.
Okay. I'll go up to the dispensary and get back as soon as I can.
I probably got him from my little cousin when she came to visit us.
Oh, you're going to be fine, Emily. Paul said he'd stay with you tonight. Wonder if I ought to go to the dance. Oh, well, anyone who's going to get him from me has got him by this time. But, you know, we're going to have to tell Hawkins.
And what do you think you're going to have to tell Hawkins? First she comes tottering down the corridor, then you go racing out and come back with a young doctor, though you don't really need him. If I can't support a case of measles by this time, I don't know who can.
Going to report it?
Tomb, Elf, tomb.
Why to the captain?
Now, let the captain worry about his navigating. I'll look after my passengers.
Hawkins, you're a darling. Oh.
Well, you better get on your way now before you pick up any more germs.
Oh, Mr. Smith will show you how to fumigate the cabin after we leave.
Oh, really, indeed? He'll show me. Who got the late Duke's 3 sons through 2 cases of measles, 1 of mumps, 2 scarlet fever, and 4 music hall bills.
Bye-bye.
She has confidence in me.
Captain just came in.
No. Really?
Amusing chap.
No. Really?
Care to meet him?
No. I mean, yes.
Met his daughter once.
No. Really?
Red hair.
No. Really?
Bad teeth.
No. Shame poor Emily had to miss all this.
Best thing, though.
What do you mean?
Girl sick, stay in bed.
Oh.
Music.
Yes, Alistair, dear, it's music.
You know, Miss Cambro must have got a cold.
Yes. Something like that.
Oui, oui. Frankly, I don't see why all the people in both your countries don't have colds all the time.
No, really?
Oui. Clean living.
No, really?
Cheers.
Okay.
Poor Emily.
Well, we won't have any trouble getting you ashore. The veil will cover the spots. They'll ask you a few routine questions, but don't you worry about it.
I won't. But I do feel terrible about you missing the party.
I don't give a hoot for the party.
But it seemed to be so important to you.
Not the party itself. I just didn't like the idea of you going to the dance with anybody else. Emily, I never want you to go anywhere with anybody else for the rest of our lives.
Measles are a wonderful thing to have, aren't they?
Want me to read some more to you?
Yes, please.
Jug of wine, loaf of bread, and thou beside me singing in the wilderness.
I've never seen anybody look funnier than you do.
Oh, stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can get a word in edgeways here. This is Miss Elizabeth Montgomery and Miss Sally Kemp. I want to tell them both, and I'm sure that you will join with me, how very, very much we enjoyed their performances. We're proud of both of them.
Well, thank you very much. I must say I've been
You proud of
walking around.
yourself?
I've been walking around in these clothes so much that everybody else looks strange.
You did that.
You know, it's just terrible. They all look at their waistlines. I just think I'll go home like this. It's all pretty chic.
You can frighten
People would
that
look
way.
at, yes. With those measles all
Be
over
with
the
us
place.
next week, ladies and gentlemen, when we present Land of Happiness, starring Miss Oza Masson and John Newland. It's the romantic story of 2 people who discover a new understanding of themselves and their love through the people that they meet in a new land. Be with us then, and remember, the name to look for in wax is Johnson. Thank you, and good night.
Next week at this time, Robert Montgomery presents Land of Happiness. Starring Osa Masson. On your Lucky Strike Theater. And remember, tomorrow night on another network, Lucky Strike presents Danny Thomas in Make Room for Daddy. Consult your TV listings for time and station. Radio Free Europe is the voice of private American citizens, beamed to 70 million men and women and children behind the Iron Curtain. It is a day-by-day barrage of truth that will cost $10 million this year. Help keep truth alive by sending your truth dollar to Crusade for Freedom in care of your local postmaster.
Everybody loves a bazaar. For money-saving values, come to the TV Homemakers Bazaar. Johnson's Wax, who bring you Robert Montgomery, and Life with Father, offers you many wonderful buys. See your Johnson's Wax dealer now while they last.
TV special number 1. This handy work-saving beauty floor waxer for $2.89. And with it free, a big 75-cent can of Johnson's Beauty Floor. TV special number 2. With every 16-ounce bottle of Pride, this fine cotton flannel 50-cent dusting cloth free. TV special number 3. This free applying pad with all pints and quarts of Johnson's Hard Gloss Glow Coat. A fine chenille pad for applying Hard Gloss Glow Coat. Also, it fits your Glow Coat applier.
Be first to get all these exciting values. Visit the TV Homemakers Bazaar at your neighborhood Johnson's Wax dealer.
I mean, I always thought the captain spent all of his time up on the bridge.
Captain? Oh, the captain!
I beg your pardon?
The young lady mistook me for the captain.
Aren't you?
No.
Sir, you're going to have to excuse her. You see, she's never been on a ship before, and she doesn't recognize the insignia. Emily, this is the first officer.
Oh, well.
First officer, I say.
Not the first officer?
No.
The second officer.
Try again.
Chief engineer.
The orchestra's ready to rehearse, Mr. McGregor.
Oh, thanks awfully.
Orchestra?
Yes, that's right. Well, Charles, it's been quite amusing. Superstar.
Emily Kimbrough. I have never been so humiliated in my life. How you could have made such a stupid mistake. I told you that we were going to practice things like that. But I never want you to see anybody again, and I'll be instead. Well, I still don't think that you should have made...
Oh, Paul, look. Isn't that a dolphin I see out there, Paul?
Yes, Ralph. I believe you're right. There is a dolphin out there, Ralph.
Yes, Paul, that certainly is a dolphin I see out there. All right, all right.
Yes, Ralph, you're absolutely correct. It certainly is. All right.
Paul, I do believe that is the finest dolphin I have ever seen.
Yes, Ralph. That certainly is a fine dolphin.
A lot of people never get a chance to see a dolphin.
Well, get on with our walk.
Their names are Paul and Ralph. Emily Kimbrough, what are you thinking? I was thinking that Muncie, Indiana's just full of nice old ladies. I can meet Ralph's of them any time I want. But Muncie, Indiana's got nobody like them.
Ah, mon ami, where were you?
Scouting?
We were to meet at 3. I've been sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting for you. Scouting? Beating the bushes. View halloo and all that. Oh, your English, even when you speak your own language, you're completely unintelligible. View halloo, beating the bushes, scouting. Having a look-see. Peeling the eye. And what have you discovered? Girls. Girls? Yeah, but of course girls. The whole ship is filled with girls.
2 girls. 2? Very good number, 2. 2 of them, 2 of us.
I see. Makes 4.
Very convenient, 4.
Convenient?
Very. Bridge, shovelball, deck tennis. 4 always works out. Get your cap.
Good evening, Hawkins. Good evening, Hawkins.
Evening,
Miss
miss.
Bush.
Evening, miss.
No time for a nap now, Emily.
Oh, put out your dinner dresses, miss. I assume that's what this is.
Yes, that's mine.
Didn't I see a similar garment on Theta Barra in a recent film?
Oh, that's where I got the idea for it.
I'll see, miss. Young people are full of ideas these days. Leads to no end of trouble. Take Mr. Cochrane now.
Mr. Cochrane?
Mr. Alistair Cochrane, a second son to the Earl of Brougham. We've got him aboard this ship, on his way back to England again. As an eye for the girls, he is. Poor family, constantly shipping him out. Back he always comes. He'd be delighted.
Thank you, Tom, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Johnson's Wax program. Tonight, we are delighted to bring you episodes from one of the most amusing books I think I've ever read, Our Hearts Were Young and Gay by Cornelia Otis Skinner and Emily Kimbrough. As I'm sure you remember, this particular chronicle concerns the misadventures of the 2 authors back in the 1920s when they undertook a trip to Europe. Portraying Miss Skinner tonight is Elizabeth Montgomery, who appeared with us last summer during our summer stock series and played on Broadway this season in the comedy Late Love. Miss Emily Kimbrough will be played by Sally Kemp. In just a moment, we'll begin tonight's comedy, which comes to you direct from Studio 8H in Radio City, New York. In the meantime, here's an interesting message about one of the many fine products of Johnson's Wax for home and industry.
Let's ask him.
Steward.
Yes, sir?
Smith and Barker, do you have our luggage?
What name's that?
Smith and Barker are on A deck, cabin 47A. We wanted to get our cameras.
Wilson, Brown, Morgan, Kimber, Skinner. What name did you say again?
Dr. Smith and Dr. Barker.
No doctors on my list, sir.
Well, let's try that one over there. Steward, do you have our luggage?
A little crowded in here. In June of 1923, the Empress of France was considered by those in the know as far and away the smartest thing afloat. It was a happy omen then that it was on the Empress of France that Cornelia, daughter of the famous actor Otis Skinner, and her school friend Emily Kimbrough were able to book passage for their first trip abroad. Their first voyage as independent young ladies, free for the summer holidays anyway, from the confines of parental supervision. Soon they would be on their own, on just about the swankiest ship to sail the 7 seas. For months now they had studied this little brochure full of the wonders and beauties of the SS Empress of France. But suppose we let the brochure speak for itself.
When you first step aboard the SS Empress of France and into the graceful main salon, you will be met by our corps of cheerful, courteous stewards whose every thought is for your comfort and tranquility. Proceeding aft, you will saunter down a corridor which has been scientifically designed and placed for your ease of transit.
Is this the A deck?
Yes, sir, if you'll excuse me.
Well,
sir.
if this is the A deck, then where is my cousin Martin's cabin?
The purser's office is on the right of the saloon. He'll give you the information.
Proceeding at your leisure down this broad and gracious corridor, the first entrance on your right will be the well-stocked library for your repose and comfort. The library, paneled in Honduras mahogany, is so restful and soothing you will find it difficult to tear yourself away. Difficult to tear yourself away. Well, once back in the corridor, you will want to lose no time in getting to your luxurious stateroom. You will want to lose no time in getting to your luxurious stateroom. And aboard the SS Empress of France, every stateroom is impressive for its simple elegance and its feeling of roominess and space.
86A.
My bottles!
Bottles?
My perfume, Mr. Skinner. He probably broke all of them.
Oh, I doubt it, Emily.
What's he waiting for?
You're supposed to tip him, Emily.
For breaking my bottle?
Oh, he's a nice man. He wouldn't do a thing like
A
that.
special service because you look like a special customer.
I'll take care of it.
No, I'll get it. Mr. Skinner, especially when I'm not even sure if I trust folks.
You're absolutely right, Emily. Now, don't trust anybody. That attitude could only lead to happiness here. Now, the very best thing for both of you to do is to meet some nice older women.
That's the sailing whistle, and unless we're expected to chaperone the girls all the way across to Southampton, I think we'd better go, Maud.
It's time to go.
Oh, Mother.
Oh, now, Maud, don't start to weep. They're only going to Europe, not on the road.
Oh, but they're such babies, Otis, dear love. Both of them.
Mother, please.
Oh, come along, Maud. Have a good time, girls. And remember, Emily, Kimbrough to the boats. Be prepared.
I'll be ready, Mr. Skinner.
Afternoon, Miss. Hawkins, your stewardess.
Good afternoon. Oh, I'm awfully glad to meet you. Now, I want you to take very good care of these two children. It's the first time they've ever been away from home alone.
Mother,
and you
really?
I'll look after them, Mum. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Children. Go, Nina. Emma.
To cover any breakage or loss of life during the voyage.
We'll hope for the best, sir.
That'd be very wise. Goodbye, girls. Emily. For me. Try to cooperate with the captain. It makes everything easier.
We send you postcards, dozens of them. Every day.
Well, every other day ought to do the trick. Bon voyage!
Bon voyage! Now, don't forget, children. Try to get close to some nice older women.
Maud, everyone will think you're giving instructions to a team of pickpockets. Bye, girls.
Goodbye, darling.
Have a good time.
Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Sailings. Sailings, they are so strenuous. Oh, it's such a relief when everybody's gone.
Shall I unpack your bags, Miss?
Oh, what's the matter? What's that?
Instructions for life belts, Miss.
We don't have any life belts.
Under the berth, Miss. Very easy to get at.
Emily.
You young ladies have never traveled by ship before.
Oh, I have many times.
Nellie Skinner, you've been to Europe exactly once.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that.
The Skinners. Old whaling folk, you know. Cape Cod, Gloucester. A family tradition, the sea.
Well, that's nice, Miss. Shall I unpack for you now?
Oh, yes, I wish you would, Hawkins. And you'll find a package of cigarettes in that box. I'd like one right away, please.
Cigarettes, Miss?
Yes, Hawkins. There they are. Thank you. I find a cigarette indispensable for quieting one's nerves, or when one's nerves aren't quiet. Don't you, Emily? Cornelia. Cork tipped.
So I'll see, Miss.
Next, please.
As you said, Miss, cork tipped. You lit the wrong end.
I know. I prefer it that way.
Oh, look, I found out all about them. They're traveling cabin class, the same as we are. They're on A deck, cabin 86A, I think.
You found out their stateroom number?
I looked on the passenger list. It's a public document. Their names are right on it, Miss Kimbrough and Miss Skinner. There are ways of going about doing this. I've heard of them. We can get the captain to introduce us.
If we can get somebody to introduce us to the captain.
The captain is supposed to look out for the welfare of his passengers.
Only an emergency.
Well, this is an emergency. I want to meet that girl. Suppose we gave that cabin steward a big tip.
To do what? Smuggle us into their stateroom? That's a way to make a good impression.
Don't be cruel. Here they are now. Look, we got to think of something quick.
Covering a lot of ground, so to speak.
Oh, yes, rather. Yes, right on schedule. A trim little boat, you know. Knows her way about.
I guess she must, since you're down here talking to us.
Yes. What's that you say?
Where's my purse?
There.
Oh, thank you. Excuse me.
Yes,
Can I help you? English money they gave us. There. Thank you, my man.
Blimey.
My goodness, did you see the look he gave me? Why, you'd almost think he was going to bite my head off. How much did you tip him, Emily?
$1. $1. Children, there's something you've got to learn about tipping. Giving too much is almost as bad as giving too little. Now, 10% of a bill in a restaurant is really enough.
Mother, he didn't yell at Emily that way because she gave him too much.
No?
$1? Well, it was the biggest coin I had.
Was it a sort of dark brown?
Yes, English
You
money.
gave him a penny.
Yes, 2 cents in American money. Oh, my goodness. And now I'll probably have a grudge again. And if anything terrible happens, like a shipwreck or something, oh, I better wait. I didn't mean it.
I can see where Emily Kimbrough's going to liven up this voyage considerably.
There, Cornelia, the spot is out of your coat, dear. You know, I'm surprised that Emily's mother didn't come to see her off.
Oh, well, you see, she couldn't at the last minute. Emily's little cousin came to visit, and she came down with something.
Emily's mother?
No, Emily's little cousin.
Came down with what?
Oh, measles. You know the things that kids come down with.
As opposed to all us adults.
Now, Cornelia, dear, when the steward comes with the dining list, it's very important that you should tell him to put you down for the second sitting. Now, remember that, dear, second sitting. Don't let him persuade you to take the first sitting. It's completely unsatisfactory. Nobody sits at the first sitting.
Well, someone's got to sit, Maud. There'd be no point in having a first sitting.
But, Otis, dear love, there isn't any point in having it. Now, you remember that.
Oh, yes, Mother. Where are we going to put everything?
Well, there'll be a stewardess assigned to this cabin, and she'll show you where everything's supposed to go. She'll do your unpacking for you.
Unpacking? If you unpack one more thing, there won't be room enough left in here to scratch your backs. They put 2 berths in the captain's speaking tube and called it a stateroom.
But, Otis, dear love, you remember the first time.
Wrong cabin. So sorry. Madame. Monsieur? Mademoiselle.
Well.
For a minute, I thought they'd booked 2 more people into this anchor locker. Say, Maud, don't you think...
Oh, no, I've done it. Never in all my life. Oh, Emily, what have you done this time? I found Horace I could die. You found the steward, didn't you? I found him all right. He's just down the hall.
Passageway.
Down there. And you tipped him some more, didn't you? Oh, yes. He was charming about it. He said he knew how it was. I don't know exactly what it was he knew, but anyway, it was coming back.
My word, this girl attracts incident the way a blue suit does lint. What happened coming back?
I opened the wrong door. I thought it was this room, but it was the one next to it. And I just opened the door and said, well, I hope you feel better now.
And did whoever it was?
I don't know. It was an elderly gentleman, and he didn't have on any... Oh, dear, I don't know if I should have come on this.
Emily! You mean he didn't have
Cornelia!
Cornelia, Emily. You know, come to think of it, there are men in Europe.
And that's the only way they can keep the women from coming to America.
Oh, dear love, now this is a very serious subject. Now, you children are traveling alone. Young ladies traveling alone very often attract, well, of course, nice girls like you and Emily wouldn't care to. Well, I mean, it would never occur to you to. That makes sense, doesn't it? Now, the best and the safest thing for both of you is to try to meet some nice women. Some nice older women, and they'll show you around.
Back. 5 bells. Well, I know it's 5 bells, Marty. I'm not deaf. What does it mean?
Well, that's the way they tell time on a ship, Emily.
It's not 5 o'clock. It's only...
You'd better learn how to tell ship's time, young lady, because the officers aren't allowed to help the passengers out. That's part of the discipline of the British Merchant Marine.
It is?
And another thing, you'd better learn where your lifeboat station is and the proper way to put on your life belt. Any day, the captain may take it into his head to shout, "Kimbrough to the boats!" And you'll have to leap into a boat and row about for a while.
I will?
Oh, Dad's just kidding you, Emily.
Oh, I think that's me.
But it seems that.
Well. Oh, unhook me, Hawkins. The Earl of Rome.
The second son, miss, doesn't come into a penny.
Well, tomorrow's another day.
Can't you think of anything besides walking around and around the deck? We've been at sea 24 hours already.
Thought that after a while they might notice us.
Well, the whole passenger list has noticed us. Everybody except them.
Supposing we're just to walk right up to them and say, is this chair taken?
Well, suppose they said yes, it is.
Well, then we could introduce ourselves and say, nice voyage, isn't it?
Suppose they thought it wasn't.
Oh, we've got to think of something.
Try the dolphin again.
Yeah, might as well. Maybe this time we'll really see one.
Here they come again. See any dolphins on the horizon?
Is that a dolphin on the horizon there?
Oh, hello there. Is this chair taken?
I know, I don't think so.
Alistair Cochrane.
The Earl.
Nice voyage, isn't it?
Lovely. Oh, I'm Cornelia Otis Skinner, and this is my friend Emily Kimbrough.
How do you do?
Sure.
Jolly. What?
Oh, steady.
Good ship.
Topo.
Ocean.
Tremendous.
Miss Skinner. Saw you at dinner last night. Couldn't take my eyes off you. Smashing dress.
Rather.
Steady, Doctor.
We won't be doctors for another 3 years.
Yeah, well, it's never too early to start practicing the bedside manner. Always be calm, sure of yourself, and above all, never yawn in a patient's face when she is describing her symptoms to you.
That's very funny.
Well, I know a way that you can meet Miss Kimbrough.
How?
Well, I figure if you walk up to her and you say, "Pardon me, miss, I'm a medical student, and in my practice you appear to be quite ill," then you quickly take her pulse. You see, in this way, you not only get to meet her, you get to hold her hand.
Very funny.
As you've seen many times, many things happened on the good ship Empress of France during the first 24 hours of the memorable voyage she carried Cornelia Otis Skinner and her friend Emily Kimbrough to Europe for their summer vacation. However, the incidents unveiled thus far tend to fade away when compared to later developments. It is now early evening on the second day out.
Excuse me, ready so soon? Mm-hmm. You were an awful pill this afternoon on our double date with Alistair and Ulrich. What got into you? I had such a wonderful time. We went to the bow of the boat, and your English friend said, bow. Then we went to the stern, and he said, stern. Then we went to the boat deck, and what did Alistair say? Boat deck, but he... No, let's be fair to him. He said boat deck, but then he pointed to them and said, lifeboats. Well, you could have talked to Ulrich. Ulrich was so fascinated by Alistair's ready flow of wit, he didn't say anything at all. Well, what do you want? I don't mind the boy not talking. But I want him not to talk because I look so lovely in my new dress that he's awed. That's the one. Yes, it is. I want him not to talk because he's thinking about me and how delicate and fragile I am. Delicate, really, darling. We played hockey together. You weigh 114, and you are as strong as a little